and investigation of significant killings or murders that have remained uninvestigated. And so I've urged the police and the investigative organizations to look more actively in cases like Ahmed Swali, and that is how come a first suspect has been arrested. We're hoping that his interrogation will lead to further arrests of people. There are several other cases like the J.B. Dankwa murder case, and we're asking that it be expedited in terms of the prosecution that is taking place and for investigations to be carried out to find out if any other persons were involved in some of those. And so those are ongoing, and then we also have the issue I thought I should raise of the judiciary and the perception of the judiciary. I believe that it is not anecdotal. I mean, several surveys asking Ghanaians, what their opinion of the judiciary is have not come out positively. And I believe that it is a duty for all of us to work to make sure that we have a judiciary that is respected. Year in, year out, you hear 12 billion cedis misappropriated, 15 billion cedis misappropriated. And how we deal with these cases are very difficult because of the constitutional procedure, parliamentary accounts committee and all that. But after that has happened, we must have a fast-track court where we're able to deal with this so that we deter people from just misusing government funds like that. Government is open to working with you, particularly on our side of the political divide. There's this perception that we have a problem with the legal fraternity and things like that. I think that if you look at the kind of people, Marietta and all of us sitting here, we're not people who have any such animosity towards the judiciary and the legal fraternity. So our doors are open, our hands are open, and if you think that there's anything that you should bring to our attention, don't hesitate at all.
President John Mahama has suggested a new legislation to criminalize the cutting down of cash crops like cocoa for mining purposes. He says it's economically prudent to cultivate cocoa, which he said can generate income year-round compared to mining, which leaves the land barren once the gold is extracted. Speaking after a courtesy call from the Ghana Cocoa, Coffee and Shea Nut Farmers Association, he noted that preserving cocoa production is vital for the country's economy. He also declared this year as a, quote, year of correction to bring the cocoa sector back on track, end quote.
Unfortunately, as the finance minister mentioned in the budget statement, Cocoa Board today owes 32 billion cedis, and you're supposed to pay 9 billion by September. I hope you're getting ready to pay that money. That is all money that should have gone to farmers. Unfortunately, we're using it to pay debts. Production is down. Meanwhile, as production has dwindled, the staff strength of Cocoa Board has skyrocketed. I thought that if your production was going down, your income was going down, you would either maintain your staff strength or even reduce it. That is what all private businesses do. But in your business, while production was going down, prices were going down, employment was going up. And so the Cocoa Board ends up spending, as at last year, 3.something billion, 3.4 billion or something, on mostly administrative and headquarters expenses. And the thing about the cocoa business is the bulk of the benefits of the cocoa industry should go to the farmer so that it incentivizes him to look after his cocoa farm and make sure that it produces more. This year will be what I call a year of correction because of what they have inherited from the past administration. And so this year will be a year of correction so that we can bring the industry back on track. Have to make sure that people are not cutting down cocoa trees to mine gold. Gold you mine the land, and once it's mined out, the land becomes useless to you. But if you plant cocoa on the land, every year it will yield revenue. Every year it will yield revenue. And a cocoa tree can last 30 years or more and produce money every year. So it makes more sense to leave that gold under the ground and rather depend on your cocoa tree than to mine the ground and make it useless to our children and our children's children. And so I'll encourage, and I was saying that maybe we should pass laws that prevent people from cutting down cocoa trees for mining.
Well, joining me in studio is Nana Obuadia, and he is always talking for the agricultural sector, but he is the president for Concerned Farmers Association. Nana, thank you for joining us. The last time I saw you, it will be that the new government was just about coming in, and you were calling that the new government would invite you, Concerned Farmers Association, so that you can give your input. Has that happened yet?
Well, it hasn't. It hasn't happened, and even what happened today, I don't know whether it is today, what the president is talking about. I don't know whether it is today. You can see some people around wearing these cocoa dresses and some stakeholders around that. Concerned farmers wearing part of it. But that is not a problem. All we need is the implementation. He has said it. But then the agencies, the security agencies, are they going to enforce the law so that at the end of the day, our cocoa trees will be left out? As I'm speaking to you, when you get to a place like Esekesu, most of the cocoa plantations have been destroyed. And there are people behind it. There are chiefs. And the police are aware of all this. The report has been made. You see? And
so for you, even if this legislation is passed, you're not confident that the implementation of it will help us yield any result?
Well, there are a lot of laws that have been passed, but then are we enforcing the law? The problem is, let us enforce the law. Because cocoa is Ghana, and Ghana is cocoa. And look at the way and manner that they've destroyed. As I'm speaking to you, go to Chebi and see what is happening. It is happening live. They are cutting it. Police pass each and every day. They know those that they are doing the illegalities, but nothing has been done.
Let's talk about, beyond what's happening, let's talk about how much galamsey or mining has impacted you as a farmer.
Well, it has destroyed, it has really destroyed, taken almost 70% of our produce or 70% of our land that we do our cultivation. And it has not yielded anything out of it. You know, we are not against mining. You can go ahead and do your mining, all right. But then what we are saying is, don't destroy our water bodies, don't cut down our trees, don't even cut down our cocoa trees. And it is not we, the farmers, that sometimes give our farms, cocoa farms, to the galamseyers or the miners. No. I have an evidence. I said the president, the other day, Honorable, the spokesperson for the president, was here. I told him that there was something that the president have to see. As of now, they've not called. So this shows how...
What was this something?
I said there's a video which is very serious, is dangerous. What he's talking about, fine. But then there are things that is happening on the ground, which is more dangerous.
This video, is it that it's not public video?
No, it's something that the president have to watch before advice we can even bring it out, because we made it and we spent a lot of money to do that. And then showing such a video will also cost us, because our lives have to be protected, you know, because it is not easy for you to have such a video. We want all around out for such videos. And as we are saying, there are people around who are giving this kind of concessions.
But what's this video about?
It's about this galamsey issue. It's about our cocoa. And we told the government that we can double up the cocoa production this very year, when the opportunity is being given. By the next 4 years, by the time that John Dramani Mahama's term of office will be over, and maybe if you want to go again, fine.
Unfortunately, he cannot go again.
Let's say the next election, Ghana will lead the world producing of cocoa. And we have the techniques. We know. We have been on the field, and we know what is happening. But as I'm speaking, the cocoa will continue to decline. Even the trees, almost 10 million trees will even go down this very month. They are cutting it. It is ongoing.
And you need the president to watch this video. Why not the agriculture minister?
No. What I'm saying is, I've been to places, I've met several people in government and other things, and I know what I'm talking about.
But there's a new government now.
There's a new government, fine. But what I'm saying is, there's something that when Anas did the videos and other things, who watches it first? He sent it to the president to watch. You get my point. The same thing we are also calling for.
Is this some sort of an investigative piece?
Well, it is something like that. And then what I'm saying is we spend a lot, and it is a national security issue, which the president have to watch this video. We are not telling lies, exactly, you know, because our cocoa is in danger.
But what steps are you taking to have the president watch the video?
Well, getting to the office of the president sometimes is a little bit of challenge. That is why we use the media, you know, to address. We saw the spokesperson around here on a roundtable discussion. I told him that there's something of that sort. So being a spokesperson, I think by now he has even stepped on the toe of the president, that Mr. President, there's something that you need to watch, which is very important. But as of now, nothing has been done, you know. So we will continue to do our works because at the end of the day, we started this identification of community challenges about this cocoa. Nobody give us a damn. We use our own resources. We sell brooms and other things. It is true with the concerned farmers that now Ghana can even boast of the cocoa that we even have it now because majority of it, we're about to destroy it and we stop them. And as I'm speaking, there are a lot of farmers that they want to let their cocoa goes down. Yes.
So beyond this the legislation that the president is asking that we just might institute or establish to criminalize the cutting down of cocoa, I mean, do you agree that it should be criminalized first of all before we even go into the concern of whether it will be implemented or not?
Exactly. Even the president has kept long. The president should use his power to say that from today, when you cut down cocoa, you have to be in prison. That is all, because cocoa is Ghana and Ghana is cocoa. Cocoa is a state crop and the government have a control over it. When you smuggle a cocoa, do you know that when you are crossing the border of Burkina and they see one single bean like this in your pocket, cocoa bean, you can be arrested? Yes, you are not supposed. So there are laws there. So all that we need is they have to reinforce it, because as I'm speaking right now, go to Chebi, they are cutting down the cocoa trees. Go to this place, Kwabe, they are cutting down the cocoa trees.
Where's Kwabe?
Children are dying. West Akim.
Okay.
Children are dying. Their pits are all over open, and farmers there cannot go to the farm because when they go, they just get drowned. They get into the pit and they die, and nobody cares. That is my surprise, that we live in a country that there's a new government, people are in place, and then we, the concerned farmers and advocacy groups, will continue to talk about this, and nothing has been done.
Now, beyond even setting up legislation or laws that will criminalize the cutting down of cocoa, currently, the new government seems to have a certain plan in place in fighting illegal mining, or what you, if you like, called galamsey. Yeah. The current arrangements, the deployment of river guards and all, and in fact, the invitation to repeal or amend the LI that allows the president to allow some sort of mining in the forest areas. If you think that if we want to implement this existing arrangements already, it will not be enough than still even criminalize the cutting down of cocoa trees?
No, we need to criminalize it because cocoa is a tree. You see, even animals are not destroying the trees. How much more you call yourself human? That you said you have sense more than the animals, you know? Animals are there before we, but then the trees were there. Okay. Human beings are destroying the trees. So you need to, if you cut down a tree, you need to be sentenced. Let's say maybe 50 years imprisonment or 100 years imprisonment. When we do that, people will stop disturbing our trees.
But so beyond the mining,
beyond the mining,
tell me some of the things that especially cocoa farmers are facing, the challenges.
Before I come to the challenges, the only thing that can save this situation, the government of the day have a policy. These are the programs that will help the young people that they are there. Because those that they are doing the mining, all that they are saying, through our findings, they said there's no job for them. What are they going to do? You know, this is their source of livelihood. This is what they can do to survive. So if the government have a job for them, they will leave the mining side and then go. We are not saying they shouldn't mine. We have a lot of people that engineers and planners have machinery, I mean big machinery that they can use for this kind of mining without illegality. We have other companies that they also have. Why is it that the government of the day will not open a tender for Ghana ourselves to do our own mining? Because other companies came and they lied to us. They'll make Ghana like Johannesburg. And let's ask ourselves, go to New Ibrim and see the number of gold that they are taking out from this country to whatever that they call it, and see how the place is.
Do you have assurances in the gold board, the new gold board that Sami Jenfi has been tasked to set up, which he believes will regulate all of this, especially the mining of gold in Ghana? which he thinks in some way, somehow will regulate all of this. Do you believe in that one?
Well, he's a young man with fresh ideas, and I think young people with fresh ideas always try to impress and then trying to do things that will also support and help the state. So let us give him a try and see. I do believe that maybe, not that maybe he will deliver, you know, he will go. So Sami Gyamfi being at that sector, I think let us give him a try.
I mean, he thinks that the gold board, if implemented, will sanitize the mining industry, because then they will be the sole body to buy and export. So it will mean that you can't even go and be cutting down cocoa trees to mine illegally, because by the time you are cutting down the cocoa tree, that would amount to some sort of illegal mining.
Yeah, so who are those that are going to mine the gold? Are we going to allow the Anglo gold and then the Newmont and other people to take our gold away? No, we don't want that. We are tired of all these foreigners taking our mineral. That is why these young people, through the findings, I said there are a lot of things that is behind the scene that they have no idea. As I'm speaking to you, we have rebels in this country. If I say rebels, how can these young people, unknown, I can't say that they are Ghanaians, because some of them, their tonation doesn't sound like they are Ghanaians, holding dangerous weapons and other things, fighting our security personnel, you know? And all these things, they are being sponsored by some people doing that. That is why I'm saying that this is a dialogue. We have the solution to solve these challenges that it is happening. You know, it is not about sending the police, the soldiers and other things. Some of the soldiers and the police that you are sending them, most of them are hungry. They are there to make a living, to take money and other things from the people. We saw them, they are investigating and other things, and then videos that came out that they extort gold and other things from the people. But then the solution is, we need to get them a job. And then the new government said, there's a policy in 24-hour economy and a whole lot of things. This is what we need to talk about. This is what they have to open it up. The Ministry of Agric, led by Enobo Eriko Poku and then John Dumelo, should be open. I mean, they should open it, split the beans out. You see, so that the young people will just go in for it. Time is going. You see, there's no time.
If you're given the opportunity to dialogue or consult with the new minister in charge of Agric and his deputy, what exactly would you be bringing on board?
I'll bring on board this.
I mean, for the Concerned Farmers Association,
yes, concerned
farmers.
Concerned farmers, what we are doing now is housing, you know, putting up housing within the various farming communities, because these young people, most of them don't even have a place to stay. When you come to Accra like this, a lot of it has been choked, these sleeping kiosks and other things. Others are into drugs, this kind of drug that they call it red and other things. It is destroying them. And these are the young people that they are going to take over the next generation. So we are putting up houses within the various farming community where they can lay up their head, and then every one house with 1 acre land, so that they can, if it's the Nkokon that they will do livestock, fine. If they will go into soya bean, they can do soya bean. If they want to go into vegetables, they can go into vegetables. This is a proper planning that has been laid down that we propose to the government.
But immediately, just immediately, beyond the mining and the cutting down of the cocoa tree, what are some of the challenges you think cocoa farmers are facing in this country?
The welfare.
Okay.
Our welfare has been taken away from us for a long time, which is constitutionalized. I mean, farmers, cocoa farmers need to get their welfare. We are not getting it. And then 2, this government came to promise. They said they are going to do the increased price and other things, and we believe that they are going to do that, because John Dramani Mahama don't say things and then mess it up. You by all means do it. But the main challenge now is, how are they now going to solve this issue of the galamsey?
Okay.
Because most of our lands, they are taken away from us. You will be there, and then they'll be saying that this section has been given for a concession. I witnessed a global award cocoa farm, Abraham Edusei at Chebi, was given by a concession through Office of the President. They get it, which was very dangerous. We approached them, you see, but we sent a letter to the Interior Ministry of the past government, but nothing was solved. We fought for it, and then now that land, that cocoa farm is there now.
Stay with me. Let me show you this. So, Minority Chief Whip Frank Anot Domprey has slammed the government for paying lip service to the fight against galamsey. Speaking during the consideration of budgetary estimates for the Lands Ministry, he questioned why the government claims to be serious about combating illegal mining, yet fails to allocate dedicated funding for the efforts. Now, he's been calling for an urgent conversation to ensure the necessary resources are made available to the Lands Ministry in the fight against illegal mining. Take a listen.
The the big fish here is galamsey. We can't pretend about it. I'm disturbed. I've come through all the reports. How many pages? 19-page report. Not a dedicated expression on galamsey. Why? Why? There should be so. The minister has told us at the vetting we are going to do categorization, blah, 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 blah. This is in your budget. For a whole year budget, no dedication to galamsey fight. It's regrettable. It's totally regrettable. No, you can't justify this. Speaker, I think there should be further engagement, and I will employ the committee that they should further engage the minister. There should be definite expression for the fight against galamsey. We can't leave it as it is. Passing statements and sweeping statements being made in this regard cannot hold and cannot justify the inaction. So, in as much as I speak in support of the motion, I think these observations should be teased out. And the minister, thankfully, is one of us. And he's not a difficult person. Some of these things, we should find a way of reinforcing it.
Well, nobody. You listen to the Deputy Chief Whip?
Yeah, I do. But then another Thre have no moral right just to comment on such a thing that he's talking about. His government, when their government was in power, we sent a whole letter to the Minister of Lands and Mineral Resources, but nothing was done.
In fact, he's Minority Chief Whip, not Deputy Chief Whip. But please go on.
Nothing was done. So another Thre should give us a break, because their government are the people that at the end of the day, if they did something good, like by now we will not be getting to where we are now. We sent a whole letter and how we can solve this situation. Do you know what happened? When we went to the Minerals Commission, it was the CEO then, I think he's now even the current CEO, Mr. Isi Boateng. He's the one that supported us, even motivated the young people. You see, for those that were in the bush, to get away from the bush, to go back home, and even supported some of us.